All righty, we are live. All right, we are back for UFC Fight Night Tsarukyan HOOKER taking place in Qatar. I'm here with my boy Ryan as always. How you doing?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's a later night edition of the Wager Wise podcast. But that's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Not at
Pretty.
all.
How you feeling about this card?
Yeah, there's a lot of pass spots, a lot of dogger pass spots, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's I don't know. It feels like there might be a few value losers or some interesting decisions that might happen. That some people might cover their price tags. I think a lot potentially will not. So, I'm pretty keen to get into this one anyway. Before we do, how'd you go last week? I know you had a good week as well.
plus 12 units
Boom,
through the whole night. It was just one of those nights where everything went right.
love it.
My favorite play of the night, Michael Morales, he made it look easy, and I was copying shit all week. All week, I was like opening up my Twitter. You're
Bookmarks,
delusional. You're fucked. Nice
bookmarks
motivation.
everywhere.
How did you go, brother?
Oh, that's good, man. The Morales, great call, isn't it? I mean, makes it all worth it, right? When you put your nuts on the line and it comes off like that.
Exactly.
Always very nice. I had a really good night as well. Ended up about 3 or 4 grand, which was a pretty solid night. Went 4 from 5. I did a bit of a watch along on our Twitch. You jumped in for a little bit. We went 4 from 5 on bets there. Kind of the only one we lost was a nibble on JDM in the main event, but
Yeah, I lost a but
what wasn't a big nibble anyway, so I wasn't too upset.
yeah, I kind of put money on him, knowing that I was very well losing my money. But
Yeah, 100%. It was one of those spots for sure. But yeah, good night. Benoit TKO, probably my favorite play of the night. Not a big odds, but like anything plus money there, it just felt crazy in hindsight. Even in hindsight, the under 1.5 should have been more of a look too. But anyway, we've got good plus money on the TKO line, so can't
not
complain.
like KO. That was like plus 140, right, or plus 130.
Yeah, I think I got plus 130.
Yeah, I got around then as well.
Yeah,
Felt so free.
very free in hindsight. So no, it's a good night. And I mean, besides the co-main and the main, who stunk it up a bit, pretty decent card. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the co-main mainly because I had
Wow.
the Valentina by decision.
Yeah, me too. Oh, you
But
know what made me sick though? The Bo Nickel by decision.
oh man,
That was a sick
killed me.
beat.
Like I was already like sort of half celebrating. I was like,
Yeah,
like surely nothing's gonna happen for me. Bang.
yeah. I was on stream when it first. Oh, maybe I think I was on stream and I was saying the head kick in the first round was scaring the hell out of me. And then
Oh,
he didn't throw it for a while. He sort of put it away, took a few low, and then took that one high. And man, that was clean. So pretty
perfect.
impressive. Pretty impressive stuff. All right, let's get into this card. All right, we're going bottom to top as always, kicking off with, let me just get my odds up so we're all good. All right, good to go. We're kicking off with a heavyweight scrap, 2 debuts. We've got Marek Bulho, I think that's how you say it, no idea, taking on Denzel Freeman, who is 6-1. Prices, we have a Freeman minus 195 and a Bulho plus 170. I have not done a whole lot of tape on these two, to be quite honest. I've left them to last, given there's not, a whole lot getting around. I mean, from what I can tell, it looks like Freeman has a much higher ceiling to me, just with their fight style. And I think he would probably going to win this one. But I mean, I'm not paying minus 200 for this guy that I don't know much about. So it'll be a pass, but I'm pretty sure Freeman will win.
Yeah. Bulio, he's a decorated jiu-jitsu guy. We've seen a lot of these guys come through to UFC and lose. I
Typically.
forgot that guy, Buchecha or something.
Yeah, Buchecha, that fat idiot Jimenez who I had a bet on last couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so it was them two. And he's up against Denzel Freeman, who I think he comes from a Greco-Roman wrestling background.
Okay.
And he has a solid-looking Muay Thai striking game. He's a southpaw too, and he likes to throw his body kicks and head kicks. I think Freeman should get it done. Do I have any interest in this? No.
Why not, mate? You're not rushing to play a debutant who opened close to near money is now minus 200.
Absolutely not, mate. And I'll probably still be asleep by this point. This will be like at 3 a.m. for us.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to stream again last week. It was so fun, but fuck, that'll be a brutal shift. There we go. All right, up the card to a slightly more intriguing fight all around. Lightweight scrap between Nurulo Aliev 10-0 taking on the debutant of Shakim Shamrock 12-1-1. Prices we have Nurulo Aliev minus 285 and the comeback on Shamrock plus 245. Who wins this one?
Yeah, I see a lot of people talking about Shamrock all week, and I just don't see it. I don't know. Like he does look. When it gets to the ground, obviously he's very good, but this is Narolo Ali. This is someone who's just gonna. If he ends up on top, he's just gonna stay there. Like he's gonna do all he can to stay there. How I see it, if you're gonna rather than taking a leave to win, if you think a leave is gonna win, rather than paying what minus 3xx, you might as well just go. The fight goes the distance at minus 155. If you like the Shamrock side. Like you said, there might be a lot of value losers this weekend, and this could be one. But this could, I don't know. I could also see this being like a 30-27 for Ali. I could, like, Shamrock is a talented grappler. Like, he has a good jiu-jitsu game. I'm pretty sure he's a black belt, and he can scramble. But I watched him get taken down a few times in his last fight by a 15-9 Attila Korkmaz, and he was able to get reversals and get back to his feet, but if Aliv gets him to the mats, I think he simply stays there. Like we watched him take down Joe Solecki like twice and just wet blanket him, and I think Solecki is maybe not comparable to Shamrock, but both are happy to sort of work from their backs and play the jiu-jitsu game for a little bit. Yeah, I think Aliv probably wins this.
Yeah, I'm conflicted on this one, and this is definitely there's a handful of fights that I think fall into this sort of breakdown on this card. That as we get further up, they'll become more clear. But I'm with you. Like, I haven't been impressed by Aleve purely because he's just got such a lack of finishing instinct. Like, to fight the level of fighter that he's fought on regionals and stuff and not finish them is a pretty big warning sign, in my opinion. And now you get him at like this huge price tag, like he always is, like minus 3xx sort of areas. For a guy that's not going to have any potential of a finish. And it's like he just doesn't have a damage heavy style, which is number one at the moment. We're seeing a lot of decisions go against, control time and stuff like that. So on one hand, I'm kind of intrigued on Shamrock because I think he's going to have more, finishing upside for sure, particularly in the submission realm. But like, I feel like where I think Aleve could just put him on his back and just smash him and just, stay safe in half guard sort of area. So yeah, it's a conflicting one. I think it's dog or pass, to be quite honest. I don't really know how you get to Aleve here. Like, it is a step. I would say it's probably a step down in competition. Like, the fact that Aleve's sort of dealt with Selecki, who again isn't amazing, but like he's serviceable in a couple of areas, and definitely beaten better guys than Shamrock has beat. And he's also beat, Rafael Alves, who's, hell of a fighter, very physical, bit of a grappling weakness, but like very, very physical sort of fighter. So I think he has upside to look better. Also, he hasn't fought him, he just doesn't fight very frequently. No. So that's another sort of warning sign on the Aleve side. So, I mean, I don't know how you get to him at fave price here. Like, I think he probably wins, but I mean, to pay minus 300, you have to think he finishes him within, 7.5 minutes. And I kind of can't see that happening. So, yeah, it's probably a pass for me. Maybe some value on Shem. But, yeah, I think if it gets wider, I probably will play it. Like, if he gets to like plus 280 or something like that, I think I'll probably have a nibble. It feels worth it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I do think Aliv will probably win, but yeah, that money line is a hell no. I think the biggest value of this is the fight goes the distance at minus 165.
For sure.
I'll probably parlay that with something.
For sure. Like, the only way it finishes is, Shem subs him early, or maybe Shem gasses out and gives up late, but I don't know. It's tough to see.
Yeah.
All right, up the card two. I didn't skip one there, did I? Nope. Middleweight fight between Ismail Nadeev, 24-8, taking on Ryan Loader, 8-2. I know you got a bit more conviction here, so I'm pretty happy for you to start. Nadeev minus 140, slight fave. The underdog price on Ryan Loader plus 120. He did get as high as plus 150, sort of opened plus 130 areas, and now it's back to that. So, I know, yeah, you've got a bit of conviction on this one. I know you got a bet on this one. So
Yeah,
take the lead.
I got Ryan Loader last week at plus 146. He's probably my favorite dog of the week, which is weird to say because there are plenty of solid names on this card with plus money price tags that are night and day better than Ryan Loader. But here it just comes down to the matchup. Ismail Nordiev is the definition of mid. He used to have a bit of hype in his first UFC stint a few years back, but he went 2-2, didn't live up to expectations, got cut from the UFC, traded wins and losses in the regionals, and since returning to the UFC, he's 1-1. He went 15 minutes with the corpse of Bruno Silva and lost his last fight against Junyoung Park in a very ugly-looking unanimous decision loss, where he looked good early, but like he just has very bad fight IQ, and yeah, it was just a very ugly fight. His cardio failed him, his takedown defense failed him, and he spent so much time getting controlled. Um, he's not the worst fighter. He's actually like sort of well rounded, and he looks good against opponents who are there to be teed up on or easily taken down. But put someone in front of him that will make him work and is not there to be ran over. And Nordiev can fall apart. He's just one of those guys that don't like adversity. And even if he's looking good, he just doesn't put in a consistent 15 minutes. His cardio is poor. He drops in output as fights gets extended. He has shit takedown defense. He has poor IQ and decision making, which gets even shitter like the longer the fight goes. He's also lost by sub multiple times, lost by knockout multiple times, and all his losses that went the distance have been clear unanimous decision losses. And in front of him this weekend is Ryan Loader, who is a D1 wrestler who has transitioned to MMA in 2020. Definitely raw on the feet, but I think he does decent work. It's serviceable. Like he's very tall, got a long reach. He stands in that sideways southpaw stance, stays bouncy, utilizes a lot of kicks, and I do think his awkward kickboxing will be sort of effective here. I can see it throwing off Nordiev, who is as conventional in his boxing footwork as it gets, and will have trouble getting into the pocket. But all Loader's work on the feet is to just buy time before he shoots. And here I just see him getting Nordiev to the ground. Like we've seen Nordiev give up multiple takedowns and control time to Junyoung Park, Sean Brady, Chance Rencounter, and Mikhail Prazeres. And I simply think Loader grounds him without too much effort. Loader is very strong, and he has pretty good cardio when it's just wrestling. And yeah, he can go the single or double leg route. He can get a body lock and slam him, or even get a trip against the cage. And yeah, Loader may be green as a mixed martial artist, but his wrestling is pretty high level. He's the bigger and more physical guy. He can grapple 15 minutes, and he has developed enough distance striking to just compete there. Nordiev may have a decent looking opening round, but I think the pace will wear him down, and just get him tired. Like he'll find himself with Loader on top of him eventually, and from there I just see him falling apart. I even think Loader can get a TKO via ground and pound at some point. So yeah, I took a Loader last week at plus 146. It does scare me that he's this week's dog of the week, but I don't think Ismail Nordiev is that good.
Yeah, awesome breakdown. I don't disagree with anything you said. The thing that's confusing me, right, is that he is definitely Twitter's dog of the week. I've seen like lots of people on him, but like the price isn't moving too much. Like it is slowly creeping down, but if there is some money coming back on both sides, so that's confusing me. Like are the sharps on Nordiev? Like it's weird. It's really confusing me.
Yeah, I've seen Loader as low as like plus 100 just the other day.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's moving up and down. Like he was plus 110, and now he's back to 120. Kicked off 130, up down of 50. So a lot of money floating around, which is interesting. I think I agree with what you mostly said, where I think Nordiev will probably start pretty decently. Like I think he will have a little bit of a striking advantage, but if Loader gets in close, I think he's going to have big upside, as especially after 5 minutes. So like even if I might wait. Like if I can live bet Loader after round one, maybe he just loses, or it's pretty competitive, and I can get him like plus 170 or like maybe even plus 200. Who knows? That would be awesome. But I think you got a great price, plus 140, 150 in that realm. I think that's a very good price on this fight. So yeah, I don't have as much conviction as you, but I think Loader looks like value for sure.
Yeah, it could be a good live betting spot, as you said.
Yes, sir. Okay, up the card to bantamweight. We have Beksat Almakan, 12-2, taking on Alexandre Pantoja. This is a great matchup, man. This is a really, really good matchup.
Yeah.
We have, again, this is one that sort of has shifted all over the joint. Like, it looks to me that Tapuria opened very briefly at -200 before flying up to, pick'em odds where they kind of floated between
I've seen
minus.
I've seen both a plus 120.
Yeah, they've both been dog money. They both, Tapuria went as deep as like plus 140 ish, and then back to plus 100. So again, there's a hell of a lot of money floating on both sides. And honestly, I kind of understand why. Like, I think this is a confusing fight to kind of break down. I guess I'll start with Beksat. Like, he's pretty impressive, man. Like the debut against Cousin Umar, pretty impressive. Like, he definitely got grapple fucked, but he hurt him at points, and I think his striking is looking pretty good and pretty dangerous. I'll always love him for fucking killing that Irish Canadian midget Brad Katona, who I've been desperate to watch get chinned for years, and I finally got to see it. But again, I think that's a pretty impressive win for him. Like, second fight in the UFC, you're fighting Brad Katona, who's like a 2-stint veteran, fought some pretty decent guys in the division, and just chin him that quickly. So I think Beksat's getting better. He's young, obviously. He's only 28. I do think he's developing his skill set, and particularly his striking power. It's really, really impressive. But I mean, on the feet against Tapuria, I kind of think it's going to be pretty close. Like, I think Ilya is better for sure. I mean, that's probably not a conversation. The guy's a fucking two weight division champion at the moment. But like, Tapuria has a very similar boxing style where he likes to be the one moving forward. He's pretty safe and smart defensively, and has like big power in his hands, in the boxing combos in close, like particularly the hooks. I think he probably has less, power than Ilya, definitely across the board with his punching power, but he still has decent hands. And I think on the feet, this is pretty close. I probably favor maybe Tapuria, but I think it's close. I also think he probably has a grappling advantage. I think he can, definitely a wrestling advantage. Although, it's hard to compare him to Cousin Umar, obviously. But Tapuria's had plenty of success grappling on the regional scene. And Ilya started as a majority grappler as well. So these guys have been wrestling for years and years, and he hasn't really got to show it fully yet. But I think he could dominate potentially in the wrestling, keep Beksat down, stay safe, win minutes there. On the feet, it's pretty competitive. So I kind of get Tapuria slight fave, but I don't really have a dog in this fight. I'm pretty happy just to pass, get a little bit more info on both guys, see where they're at, and go from there. So, gun to my head, probably pick Alexandre, to be honest, but I think it's a close fight, man.
Yeah, nice. I don't have too much to add. Like, I've been back and forth, and I've seen so many sharp people on both sides all through the week, and just doing tape on both of them. Like, sometimes I'm watching Beksat strike, and I think he can get the better of Tapuria, like, because there was a point in that Kobe Thickness fight where Thickness was just starting. He was starting to get ahead of it. I think in the second round, just landing some shots that Tapuria shouldn't have been getting hit with. And with Beksat, like, sometimes I'm watching him and I think, all right, like, just the style of like Alexandre Tapuria, like coming at him, like pressuring him against the fence, could definitely you definitely see him losing minutes in a fight like this. I really don't have a strong read on this. I just know they're both really. This is a high level fight, but there's a lot of unknowns, and I'm glad to not pick a side on this. And instead, I'm just going to play the fight starts round 3 at minus 115, and fight goes the distance at plus 160. So I did like a little ladder with I think 1.5 units on fight starts round 3, and then 1 unit at plus 160. Both are talented guys. I see this 29-28 either side. I'd be more comfortable just kind of sweating for the first like 20, first 2 rounds, and then just enjoying from round 3 onwards.
I feel like it could, I feel like it could be a sweaty watch, because Beksat's starting to fall in love with his hand. So, and Tapuria could crack anyone on the feet. So, like, if I'm holding an overs bet, I definitely want to see some grappling early, just to negate any of that early punching power.
I think after last week, that RoboCop versus Roman Coppola fight, like I think I can go through anything now. Like, I was so tense that entire fight.
True that. Yeah, you're really good at picking those spots where they look really violent on paper, and then you get a nice price on the overs. You've always been really good at that, whereas I am instantly just want violence. So
Yeah,
let's just see how it goes.
You're so good at picking the unders. That's the
I get fucked on them a lot, but yeah, it's probably my favorite bet to make. I think
yeah.
because you get to enjoy the fight, like, and you want action or something good to happen. Whereas if you're betting overs, you're really not typically betting for a fun experience for yourself.
Oh no.
Normally,
Yeah, I regret it every time, and this one I'm gonna regret it for a little bit. But Beck's never been knocked out or finished, and Alexandre, the one time he was finished was against a 155er.
yeah,
So I think this
yeah,
will be a 29-28 sort of fight.
yeah, like it. All right, let's keep moving. Up the card to light heavyweight. We've got Abdul Rahman Yakyayev taking on Rafael Sakura. Yakyayev 7-0, Sakura 11-3. Prices we have. This is all over the shop for what I've in terms of the order. Okay, what's your guess for where Yakyayev is right now?
Minus 900.
Up.
1,000.
Up. I'm seeing minus 1,800. I'm seeing minus 1,500.
1,800.
I'm seeing minus 14-15. There's a lot. It's the big numbers. The comeback on Sakura plus 775 to 900. Seeing them everywhere. So, what do you think about this one?
I don't know. Round one, Yakyayev. I think I saw that his knockout line was around like the minus 130.
Oh, sure.
Minus 140. Yeah, I think I saw it at $1.72.
Let me have a look. Yakyayev wins TKO minus 165. Minus, something around that number.
Yeah, I can see it right now at $1.72 on Sportsbet, which is minus 130, 135. Yeah. But then again, he has a lot of wins by sub as well, so it could be a club and sub sort of situation. Yakyayev wins. Like I've had money on Sakura before.
I know. We both have.
And yeah,
it's not a fun experience. That's let's just say that.
No, not at all. Sakura gets knocked out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like Sakura gets his marching papers here, surely, but anything minus 1,800, it's not worth anything. So
No.
let's save some time here. Sakura gets his walking papers, and we will never put money on that bum again. All right, up the card to one that I find much more interesting. Flyweight, we got Alex Perez 25-9 taking on Asu Almabayev 22-3. Prices, we have Asu Almabayev minus 188. Come back on Alex Perez plus 163 to 170-ish, somewhere in that realm. I'll kick this one off. Like, fuck, man, Alex Perez is a gangster. Like, you kind of forget. You kind of forget because of how stunted and injury prone his career has been. Like, this guy has fought some good guys, and like in their prime too.
Yeah.
Really in their prime. Like, he fought Davison Figueiredo in his literally in Figgy's prime when he was just bashing, like killing everyone. Killed Joe Benavidez, in that realm. Got Figgy in his prime. Got Pantoja arguably maybe in his prime. Is he better now? Maybe he could be, but he always had that that crazy style that frantic get in your face and sub you quickly style. And then took Muhammad Mokaev to a very good decision, and then even gets Tatsu Taira coming up the rankings. This guy honestly has a fucked up resume. Like, it is really impressive. Even before that, like mainstays in the division like Juicia Formiga, Jordan Espinoza, Mark De La Rosa, Jose Shorty Torres. Like, the dude has a gangster record, but has just been decimated by injury, like through his whole career. Like, I'm worried about what he's going to look like now. Obviously, coming off that that knee against Tyra, getting older, 33. Like, I think he's got a fair bit of wear and tear above that age anyway. And he's always kind of historically struggled with jiu-jitsu and grappling. But like, I kind of think he has, and if he's not completely shot, I kind of think he has a competitive. Like, I think this fight is fairly competitive. Like, he can compete on the feet, in my opinion. I think he's a fine striker, pretty decent defensively, has decent enough hands. Like, I think he could touch Asu up. I think there's a world in which that happens. I also think there's a world in which he looks terrible, can't stop the grappling because of, a lack of athleticism due to, fucking 16 knee injuries. And against the guy in Asu who's pretty athletic and explosive and like overall kind of impressive. But I don't think it's a clean fight for Asu in the best world. Like for Alex Perez, this is like a gritty fight where he's stuffing takedowns, keeping it on the feet, boxing him up, landing leg kicks, which I think he could. I think there's a world in which that happens, but I almost think it's like a world that's too far gone now. After another injury, so yeah, I'm conflicted. Like again, I think that like Alex Perez, it's probably dog or pass, and it feels like Perez is probably going to be the side. But I'm not rushing to play a 33-year-old coming off a knee injury and now has to travel to Qatar, face a wrestler. It's not an ideal situation. So if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Asu. I feel like I could rely on him a little bit more at this point. But plus 165 for Alex Perez, when this is arguably the weakest guy he's fought in years, I'm interested. I'm not sold, but I'm interested.
Yeah. I'm someone who typically fades Almabayev, which other than when I took Manel Cup to beat him, has not worked out well for me. Particularly in his last fight when I had a bet on Jose Ochoa at pick 'em odds, and Almabayev won very dominantly with his wrestling. And that's really how he wins. He shoots early and often, and will be happy to just ride on top till the round ends, rinse and repeat. When he does strike, he's okay. He does have solid power and nice combos, but he overswings. He's very predictable and open to be countered with his hands low. And he just throws naked kicks without any worry of straight shots coming back. Like he is a very flawed striker, but it's his wrestling which is his bread and butter. And if this was a few years ago, I'd take Alex Perez, like no doubt. And even now, I was tempted. Like he is a great anti-wrestler, and he loves to attack his like Das chokes, anaconda chokes, and arm triangle chokes and scrambles. And I feel like he'll be the better striker in there. But I'm just going to pass here because ain't no way I'm taking Almabayev at like minus 200, 2xx. And as for Perez, like he's returning after some significant time off due to that injury. He copped an Attiyah fight. We saw him have a really good fight against Makayev, and I just don't know if we can get like that kind of fight out of him, like after like the injury and like seeing how his career's panned out. It's a career plagued with fight cancellations too, so just hard to read his motivations at this point. I'm pretty sure he owns his own gym or he's like a coach or something. But yeah, I'm just gonna pass on this. Gun to my head, Almabayev, but I will be rooting for Alex Perez. Always liked him.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Yeah, absolutely love it. All right, let's keep it moving. We have up at welterweight, Nicholas Dalby returning, the Danish Wim Hof, 23-6-1, taking on Serghei Isagakmaev, 22-2. Nails that, didn't I?
That was great, mate. I'm going to butcher it in a second.
Prices we have Isagakmaev minus 315. The comeback on Nick Dalby plus 265. How do you feel about this one, my friend?
Look, Dalby has had a very respectable run in the promotion. I'll be first to admit he has killed many parlays of mine in the past, and I've just doubted him almost every step of the way. Like he does have a well-rounded skill set, solid striking. Like he's bouncy on the feet, deceptively fast, and he's got good offensive grappling too. But he's just not dangerous. He's only gotten one finish in the last 6 years, albeit to like someone that's pretty high level in Bonfim, but he's only been finished once in his career as well, which was his last fight. And yeah, I finally got my get back on him for all those parlays, loading up on Randy Brown by knockout. But man, you got to give it to Dalby. He's a warrior. Like Randy Brown broke Dalby's nose just 2 minutes into the fight, landed some bombs on him. Then he dropped Brown towards the end of round one, and he kept fighting until he got knocked out in the second in like a very wild exchange. And I don't at all think lower of him getting put out by Brown. Like Brown can KO a lot of people if he connects. But Dalby is 40 now, and you got to think maybe the wheels are about to fall off if they haven't already. I'm sure he still has a lot of fight in him, and compared to some of the older fighters in the division right now, he's aged better and fights in a smarter style for him. But yeah, he's up against a talented guy in Isagakmaev, who is 31 in his physical prime and does have the weapons, in my opinion, to make it a long night. Like, he is a Dagestani, has 12 of his 24 wins by sub, but don't get that mistaken for him being a grappler. He's a very talented striker on top of being a pretty good grappler. Like, he fought over at 1FC. He is very technical in his kickboxing, can switch stances, and has pretty good hand speed and power. And he mixes in his takedowns very well. I do think Dalby will be able to eat these punches if that chin hasn't turned to dust since that Randy Brown KO.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of damage to get Dalby out of there, but who knows what that knockout has done for his durability at this age. And I see it being competitive early, maybe with Dalby sort of like holding him in the first round, but I do think Isaac Maiev just does more along the stretch. I don't think Dalby will find himself in another situation where he's weathered an early storm and is a fresher fighter against a fading guy in round 2 and 3. I know Isaac Maiev has a good 15-minute work rate. One thing I don't like, though, is his loss to Carlston Harris a few years back. But if you rewatch that fight and watch some of his tape now, like, you could see that he's very clearly improved. I'll take Isaac Maiev to win this, but I'm going to pass on this fight.
Yeah, that fight was on Looking for a Fight as well. That was the Dana White Looking for a Fight. Yeah. I think Khabib was in the crowd and everything, so it's a pretty big stage, and he shut the bed really. But I'm pretty confident in saying I think his money line is either his money line is wrong or the round lines favoured are wrong, because he's minus 315, but the over 2.5 is favoured to minus 140. So they think it's going to go to decision. I kind of think if this goes to a decision, there's no way he looks minus 300 and whatever.
No.
Like, I think if he looks that number, he finishes Dolby in 10 minutes, 7.5 minutes probably. I think if he goes to decision with Dolby, I think Dolby looks definitely the side, and maybe, you'd have Isaac Maiev like slight favourite, minus 180 sort of area if you favoured going to decision. So off the bat, I immediately think something's wrong. I don't really see how Isaac Maiev covers his price unless like Dolby's durability is just completely butchered following that, that Brown fight like you touched on. I think there's a possibility. That's a very real possibility given he's 41 and coming off probably one of the more brutal broken noses and final KOs in his whole career, and he's now the oldest he's ever been. That knockout, I think I talked about it a couple of weeks ago when I said it reminded me of the Never Back Down scene, where he just like the guy sees red at the start and he just starts throwing and he ends up getting KO'd by the bad guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's what that Dolby finish reminded me of. Like, he got his nose broken, he got so angry in round 2, and then just went and just got brutally finished. Like that whole sequence was so hard to watch. I just remember being like a teenager watching that Never Back Down scene and just like cringing at that scene at the start. But that's how I kind of watched that last Dolby fight. But like, regardless of that, I think Isaac Maev's just an unknown. Like, we haven't seen him in multiple years. I wasn't really impressed with his tape overall. Like, I think what I was impressed most about was that he was pretty safe defensively, which I like. But he's not super high volume. He's not crazy powerful. Like, he's fine everywhere. But I'm just not really sure how he covers this price unless, like I said, he bonks Dolby in round 1. So I think he can wrestle at times, but again, like, he's not a wild finisher in the sub realm. Like, he's got a lot of subs on his record, but I wasn't really impressed with many of the ones I watched. He kind of fought bums and, easily got the back and stuff like that. So if he subs Dolby, I'll kind of be surprised, but I think Dolby has potentially late upside, like really big upside as this fight goes late. So gun to my head, it's definitely dog or pass, but I'm kind of leaning pass for the unknowns, but I think how wrong can you be at plus 265? If he comes in, gets bonked, that's life, is what it is. Yeah. But I think there's a good potential that it goes late and he looks value. So
yeah, might just take the like Dalby round 3 or decision thing or something.
Yeah, I guess you're just running the risk of him getting bonked early. But yeah I feel like plus 265 is juicy enough that you can just play that straight, to be honest, because it covers a lot of outcomes in a weird fight.
For sure.
All right, up the card, we have a featherweight. This is a headline of the prelims. A featherweight fight between Bogdan Grad, 15-3, taking on Luke Riley, 11-0. Coming from Cage Warriors on debut, fights out of Next Gen with Shamrock, Paddy, all those Liverpool guys. Prices, we have a Luke Riley minus 250 and a Bogdan Grad plus 210. I'm pretty excited to see what Luke Riley's got. Obviously, he comes over with a fair amount of hype from Cage Warriors. And look, he's been impressive, I'd say, across the board. Like, he gets hurt a lot. Like, he gets in. I'm still sorry. I thought I closed that then. He gets hurt a lot in fights, and he makes fights probably more competitive than he should, given his price tag generally. And I don't think his level of opponent has been amazing in Cage Warriors. So I do worry a little bit. And I think we're going to get a nice fade on him at a good number at some point. I worry about this one for Bogdan Grad just because he's so hittable, and Luke Riley can fucking crack, man. He really can, especially if you get into these wild exchanges where they're both hurt. I think Riley could take his chin off at some point. Like Bogdan Grad I think he's good, and I think most of his goodness comes from his physicality, to be honest. He just moves forward, is a tank, doesn't stop throwing, gets in your face. But defensively, he's awful. He's so hittable. He's got really no major defenses, and he gets hurt a lot. He can rely on the grappling at times, which I think is a potential here. Like I think he may have wrestling success if he looks for it. But I really worry that he's going to get bonked by Luke Riley here. So I can't play Luke Riley at minus 250 in this matchup on debut, to be honest. But I also think he knocks Bogdan Grad out. So I'm conflicted because it's an interesting one. But I do think Luke Riley wins, and I think he probably finishes him.
Yeah, agree with everything you said. I don't hate people having the stab at Bogdan Grad because he's always just live, and if he can eat some of these shots from Riley and drag him into a dogfight, he has every like chance to win because like Riley makes fights tougher than they should. But yeah, I'm gonna predict Riley to get the win here by knockout. Like we have seen Grad get knocked out cold in the past by Tom Nolan, and in his Contender Series fight, he was lucky to get that win against Michael Aswell in that all-out war. And Grad is tough, but he gets hurt a lot. Even Naimov rocked him with that spinning kick in the last fight. And if in the chance Riley comes in, like remains calm and poised in there, I think he can just bonk Grad. Like Grad carries his hands low, marches forward with his head right in the center line, and his game is to just fire shots over the top of jabs, slip to the inside, and fire combos in close as he's walking through whatever you hit him with. And that's a dangerous tactic against someone with the skill set and finishing instincts of Luke Riley. So I think Riley wins this one by knockout. If you're going to take Riley, just play the straight knockout. Or maybe even a round 1 or round 2 prop. He is going to be a good fade spot eventually.
I agree. I want him to finish this one badly by KO because I think it's going to set up some nice prices in the very near future. Obviously, that Kevin Vallejos fight was supposed to happen on Contender Series with Luke Riley, so I think they'll be angling to make that fight at some point. Maybe not next, but like in the next couple of fights for both guys. Especially if Vallejos loses, I think they'll definitely make that fight, or maybe they'll save it for when they both get potentially up the rankings. But I like under 2.5 as well. Like I'm seeing minus 130, I'm seeing minus 115. So I feel like if you can get 115 on under 2.5 with these guys, fuck, I think you take that.
It might not even go past the first round, in my opinion.
I think Riley could potentially finish him. What's his KO price? I'm curious. It is plus 130. So it's not. I mean, it's not. I don't think that's a terrible price for a likely outcome, but I definitely don't feel as good as I felt about Benoit Saint-Denis by TKO last week at the same price.
Yeah, for sure. If you have conviction, then that's the play to go to. But yeah, a guy coming from Cage Warriors that like typically gets like hurt in fights, I'd rather just pass.
Smart call. All right. Onto the main card now. We have this fight that the matchmakers really want to make. We've got Tagir Ulanbekov, 782, taking on the returning, not the debuting, the returning of Kyoji Horiguchi, 34-5. Prices, we have, where are they? Horiguchi. We've got Ulanbekov minus 195, somewhere around that area. The comeback on Kyoji, plus 165. Ryan, Ulanbekov roll here, or does Horiguchi somehow get a dub?
I think he can turn back the clock. Absolutely. Um,
Really?
Look, were you a fan of UFC when Horiguchi was around?
I definitely remember him back in the day. It probably was just before. Oh, maybe somewhere around that realm. Like I look at some of the names on the records, and I'm like, "Fuck, this guy was around then." It's a pretty crazy throwback.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was only like a casual fan back then, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I would
glad to
agree.
see Horiguchi back in the UFC. It took a long, long time to get here. Like that first stint was between 2013 to 2016. I only became a big UFC guy like from 2015 onwards, so I was just catching the
Yeah,
later part of his UFC career, and he went 7-1. Like he lost only to Mighty Mouse, and since then he's had a very accomplished career in Bellator and Ryzen, with wins against Sergio Pettis. He also lost to Sergio Pettis. Um, he beat Asakura. I think he also lost to Asakura as well, and he beat Manel Karp. Also fought Pachi Mix too, and he lost that. But he is up there in age at 35 with a lot of mileage, and his chin has been cracked more than a few times. But he's on a 3-fight winning streak right now, and he's still looking good in my opinion. A little bit slower, but you still see the same things as always. He's got that bouncing, explosive style of striking, blitzes forward with fast combos, and if he connects cleanly, he can put out a lot of flyweights still, and he mixes in his grappling very well. And he's up against Ulanbekov, who is only a year younger than him, but definitely in his athletic prime, as he's had much less mileage. And he's been improving a lot fight by fight. His grappling is pretty high level and has pretty slick striking game as well. Pre-tape, I thought this was a no-brainer to gear spot, especially in Qatar. But I do have my doubts after watching some of his fights. I feel like he has to fight a close to perfect fight here. Like he's been on a very impressive win streak, yes, and he's showing levels in there, but he's not the level of Khabib, Islam, Umar, and Usman. And I don't think he's fought anyone in a long time where the margin for error is as narrow as it will be against Horiguchi. Like if you look at his run, Azat Maxim, Carpenter, Durden, and Manes, you'd really only say Carpenter is the toughest of that bunch, and Carpenter just got handled by Lucas Rocha, and Tagir actually struggled taking down Maxim, failed all 8 takedown attempts, and Maxim got 2 takedowns on him. However, was unable to keep him down. And Horiguchi does train at ATT. He's there with Pantoja and got plenty of good bodies around him, and I think he can come into this fight well prepared to both grapple and strike. Horiguchi hasn't been getting many knockouts as of recently, but he still has the power to hurt you. And at times, I think Tagir leaves that chin a little high and is there to be hit, particularly in the pocket. Like he throws naked leg kicks a fair bit, and Maxim was able to just land quick punches when Tagir would throw these. He also tends to lean back as he exits range, and Horiguchi is a fighter who doesn't just counter with 2 punches. Like he blitzes forward with up to 6 strikes as he's running forward and could very well land on that chin. But Tagir is very technical on the feet, and if it's a clean looking fight, he's going to look very good. But I do notice when opponents force him to fight his way out of a wild exchange, he will happily oblige, and he gets hit with glancing shots at the start and end of combos, and I'm sure he lands as well, but he doesn't carry enough consequential power, both from the kickboxing range or in the pocket. Like I think it will be a matter of Tagir touching up Horiguchi to keep him at bay. And for Horiguchi, it's about timing his spots to blitz in, create big moments, and get in some damage. And I do think Horiguchi's awkward style and constant movement around the cage, as well as his dynamic attacks, which include pretty nasty elbows, um, I think that's going to confuse Tagir a little in there and get him hesitant and thinking. Like the last time he fought someone who was unconventional was Tim Elliott, who he did struggle in that fight, but Tim Elliott did cheat his way to a victory. Um,
Crafty
on,
vet.
on paper, Tagir should have the grappling edge. And look, Horiguchi can be taken down, but Horiguchi is very physical and he's in there doing rounds with Pantoja. And I think that could get him like very prepared. And yeah, I know fading Tagir is scary, particularly in Qatar, but for him to get the win, he'll need to be fighting a clean technical fight on the feet from distance, and he will need to take Horiguchi down and hold him down. And I just think Horiguchi can hurt Tagir way more than Tagir can hurt him. And where Tagir is most advantageous is an area of Horiguchi's game that he can very much compete in. So I think the line is wide, and I think it's going to end up looking like a close fight. I did take a little stab at Horiguchi at plus 155. I think he's swelled up to 170 now, but he could be a value loser if anything. But yeah, I do like Horiguchi here.
Yeah, nice breakdown. Yeah, I'm on the other side. Unfortunately, I, I just think it's too little, too late for Horiguchi. Like,
Mm.
I'm confused by the signing overall. To be honest,
Same here.
I'm very confused by it. Like, is this guy gonna put bums? Like, it's like it was like a headline signing. You know, is this guy gonna put bums on seats? I don't think so. Um, but it's going to be cool to see him back again for sure. My worry in this fight is that I kind of just think Ulanbekov is better everywhere. Like Horiguchi, I think his durability is waning. Like he's got that pretty, footwork oriented, explosive kind of style on the entries in and out, like karate sort of style. But I think his chin's gone to the point that he's like looking to wrestle a bit more in his last couple of fights. And
Oh yeah.
I don't think he can out wrestle Tagir in this one. And I think if they grapple, I favor Tagir pretty heavily. On the feet, I'd say Kyoji's definitely like the more probably confident or comfortable striker, but Tagir's long and lanky and pretty awkward himself. So I think he can have some, success in the striking potentially as well. And I do worry a little bit about the physicality, but Ulanbekov's fought some, decently physical guys themselves and performed pretty fine. So, like, I'm concerned because I definitely don't think Tagir is of the Islams and the Khabibs and the Umars and the Usmans. I think he hangs out with them, but I think he's probably on more along the Abubakar kind of lines, but maybe better than that. That's unfair.
Yeah.
I think his ceiling's decently high. Every time I see that he's 34, I'm like, what the fuck? He seems like a guy that should be like 28. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So the fact that he's 34 is a little bit worrying, but I like this fight for him. I'm confused why they keep making it. Like, does it feel like the UFC's doing something weird here? Because
Well, I think they're trying to punish the gear for that one time I think he missed weight. Like
I
bad.
think it was against Josh Van, right?
Yeah,
Or
that
like
one.
he cancelled the fight or something. I don't even think they definitely didn't fight.
Oh man, I remember having a bet on Josh Van for that fight at like plus like
Yeah, Tagir was minus 190.
yeah, at like plus 250, plus 300, and I was from memory, something
Yeah.
like stupid like that. And I remember putting the bet in, being like, "Fuck, did I just make a mistake?" But looking at hindsight, that could have ended like up very bad for Tagir.
Yeah, he came in 129.5 and
Oh,
they cancelled that fight. Obviously he got scheduled with Carpenter after that, and then it was supposed to be Kyoji and that got cancelled. I don't know why. I think that was on the Kyoji side, but
yeah,
it's just been weird back and forth. I think Tagir is probably the side. I think he covers his price tag, to be quite honest. Whether it's by decision, maybe a submission, probably not a knockout, but I think he could maybe even hurt him on the feet. And I do agree. I think Kyoji can probably hurt Tagir too, but he's taken some big shots from decent guys. So I kind of think he's a little bit more reliable at this point. So, that's where I am on that fight anyway.
yeah, nice.
Okay, this one got cancelled as of about 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
Spivac out. Your boy, the fat Dominican baseballer, Waldo Cortez.
I'm never going against him again.
Do we have any prices? Do you have any idea?
Nah, I haven't seen any prices.
I'm just looking now. It's saying Bet Online and Bovada have. You might not believe this. Maybe you will. Waldo minus 170.
Oh, fuck off! I was hoping it was the other way around.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised as well. Obviously, a guy in on 3 days' notice.
I don't know if take Gaziev now.
Where does Waldo live?
I
Well,
think in Cuba. I think he does live in Cuba.
yeah, he could. I really don't know
I don't know, but taking in that
because
much notice.
he takes short notice fights. He was in Vegas like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and now he's in freaking Qatar. Where does he live?
I have no clue. But he's my boy.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good fight for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
If this because he's a main striker, he's grappling's pretty ugly when he does grapple. Like remember that sequence against Velasco on Contender Series? Velasco had his back slipped off because he couldn't get his fucking body triangle sunk in around the fat gut of Gaziev, and then friggin' fell off and then got submitted himself. So I don't think he's got grappling upside against Waldo, and I think on the feet that's where you want, that's where you want to fight if you're Waldo. So I think he's probably safer defensively. He's got more proven cardio, more volume. Maybe Gaziev could hurt him. Probably the only way I think he would have to finish him to win, but I guess it kind of makes it. If they fought, I'd probably line him at -170, just not off 3 days' notice.
Yeah, I was really hoping on underdog prices for Waldo, but if on a full camp, like it'd be like -200 for, or -150 to -200 for Waldo. Like I think a comparable fight is when Gaziev fought Rosenstrike, and I know Gaziev absolutely shat the bed there, but a lot of it was Rosenstrike's jab.
Yeah, simple.
His distance, like it's literally just the jab. He could not get past that jab. And one thing about Waldo is he's so good at just moving around and just flicking it out there, and then leaping in with a 1-2. And he's hard to take down. And I don't think Gaziev is just going to run at him and just get him to the ground like he did with Dontel Mays and that. So yeah, I'm thinking Waldo wins this fight, even though it's 3 days' notice. But I don't know. You're putting plus one. If you put Gaziev at +150 or +180 or something, like even he could very well bonk Waldo.
Yeah, you never know. Let's ride with our fat Dominican baseballer.
Yeah, I'm never going against him again.
Yeah, he deserves it. After I still can't believe that shit.
Crazy.
The amount of fights that like. How do we always have a decent bet on one of the sides in those fights? I pass on a lot of fights. I only have action on 3 to 5 fights per card, I reckon, generally.
And
how do they always fall in the cards where there's the bullshit?
Mate, there was that, and then the week before I had a massive bet on Aspinall and Cyril Gunn, like over 1.5 or 2, and it was shaping out to be one of those kind of fights.
All right.
Jake Matthews the week before
Jake Matthews, yeah, fuck.
End my life.
Don't revive me. All right, up the card to this one at welterweight. We got Jack Hermansson, 24-9, taking on Myktybek Orolbai, 14-2-1. Obviously, Orolbai coming up from 155, Hermansson coming down from 185, meeting in the middle at 170. Prices, we've got an Orolbai -240, a Hermansson +205. And again, sorry for repeating myself, but I think it's dog or pass. I really do. Right. Like, in what world, unless Hermansson is an absolute shell of himself, which he very well could be, like, if he can make 170, I'll be shocked, to be honest. Coming off one of the worst knockouts we've ever seen in the year, for sure. Fucking RoboCop should have got arrested for fucking murder in that fight. What he did to him, mate. The way that he landed that follow-up shot was horrific. The guy was already out cold. That's how you fucking kill someone. He probably should have been the first death in the UFC, to be honest. The way he ate that fucking shot, it was brutal, man. It was really, really hard to watch, and especially Hermansson's not like an egregious guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's anyone that's watching him going, fuck, I hope this guy gets fucking butchered, eh? Like, he's so inoffensive compared to people out there. But like, I don't know how you get to this price on Orolbai. Like, this guy Hermansson just competed on the feet with RoboCop a little bit, but like Pythar the fight before that. And I definitely don't think Orolbai is as good of a striker as any of the guys that he's fought at middleweight.
Yeah. Curtis, he did so well against Chris Curtis.
Yeah, he killed Chris Curtis. Like, just frustrated him for 15 minutes. He's got a crafty kickboxing style where he's not super powerful, but he's fast, he's sharp, his volume's decent. He's a little bit awkward, which I think helps him. But like, Orolbai's a main grappler. He's a mainly, grappling, wrestling-based fighter. Is he really going to out-wrestle Jack Hermansson at 170? I don't think so, man. Like, I've seen Hermansson wrestle with Hamzat. Hamzat ragdolled him, but like, Hamzat's going to ragdoll most people. He'd ragdoll Orolbai
towards the end of that too.
Yeah, like he stayed in as much as he could. Like, he kept moving through position, and I kind of think that's what he can do here with Orolbai. Like, if this goes to the mat, yeah, like Orolbai's a fucking, half an ape. Like, not being racist. He looks like they've brought him from a fucking cartoon book or something like that. From
Neanderthalish.
He has some weird traits for sure. Like, I definitely want to see some birth certificates from his parents and stuff like that. But if he ragdolls Hermansson, I'll be shocked. Honestly, I will be. Yeah. And unless Hermansson is a shell of himself and hasn't recovered from that awful knockout, which was only a couple of months ago, and now he's cutting weight, I don't see how you can't be on Hermansson here. Honestly, I can't see it.
Yeah,
Ha-
I completely agree.
Yeah,
But one thing I need to see first, him make weight, him looking good in the scale, and once I see that, and maybe I'll watch some pre-fight interviews, then I'm putting money on him.
yeah, I'm with you. I'd almost play him pre. I don't give a fuck if he comes in and gets bonked. Fair play because of the weight cut, but like plus 200 to this guy.
Straight up, yeah. He
But
could,
yeah, you're right. We should watch the weigh-ins. Let me slow down. Let me pull the handbrake a touch.
yeah. Well, he can very well like Hermansson could land some good shit early, and Orolbai has like a lot of like he gets damaged a lot.
Yeah, he's very hittable.
That eye can puff up in that first round just from like a Jack Hermansson piston like jab, and then bang, the fight gets stopped at some point by the doctors. That's a possibility. We always get some fuckery in these like whenever the UFC enters like these weird,
Stans.
yeah, these stance places. Yeah, uh, it has to be Hermansson. I don't know how anyone can be parlaying Myktybek Orolbai based on the fights that we've seen. Like this is a guy who went life and death with Mateusz Rombeski. Now Rombeski is a warrior, but we see guys handle him like the way he does. Like what's his name, Ludovic Klein. Like there is a way to beat Rombeski, and Myktybek Orolbai just like chose to engage in that war that Rombeski thrives in, and I don't think Hermansson. If Hermansson's healthy, I don't think he's going to engage in that kind of war, and I think he's going to fight off the grappling. He has some very good grappling himself. He has some of the most brutal ground and pound like you'll ever see with his elbows, and if he can end up on top of Orolbai, which I believe there was someone. Who's that guy from Chute Box that Orolbai fought? Elvis.
Elvis.
I'm pretty sure he had moments like on top of Orolbai
Yeah, it's through scrambles and
through
stuff.
scrambles, riding his back, and I
Yeah,
think put Hermansson in that same spot, he's finding a finish.
he's huge. He's going to be huge.
Yeah, but what's the height difference?
It-
Yeah, that's a massive height difference.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what the reach. I don't know what the. I mean, it says the reach there. It's like 9. What's that? What is that? 9 centimeters? 9 inches? I don't even know
Yeah,
what that is. But whatever it is, he's going to be fucking big in there.
yeah,
I'm
that's
with you.
a 77 inch reach against 74, but like
Yeah,
he's 6'1" against 5'10",
I mean
and
this
huge.
this guy Orolbai couldn't even. It took him fucking 10 minutes to finish Uros, and Uros is the worst fucking grappler in the division.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't get the price. I think it's absolutely crazy. Like
Yep.
I'm,
I do
I'm with
think
you. I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, I think since the fights start very early, the weigh-ins will be around this time for us
Yeah.
tomorrow. So the moment I see Jack Hermansson out there on the scales, big smile on his face, doesn't look too bad, and maybe in a pre-fight interview he's saying that like he's worked with like some new coaches, like new diet or something, then I'm gonna make the play.
Yep. I like it. Absolutely love it. All right, up the card. This is the feature fight of the evening. Light heavyweight. We've got Volkan Oezdemir, 20-8, taking on Atomic Alonzo Menifield, 17-5-1. Prices, we got Oezdemir minus 225, the comeback on Menifield plus 190. Who wins this one, my friend?
Man, Menifield can't keep getting away with it. That's one thing. But you got to give it to him. Like he's been getting away with murder recently, and this goes back to his win against Dustin Jacoby as well. He was losing 85% of that fight, but he found some key knockdowns that secured him the win. And after that, he had the all-time worst game plan ever, rushing Carlos Ulberg, getting knocked out in 10 seconds. But now he's found himself on a 2-fight win streak, beating Julius Walker by split decision. And fucking Umar Sai as a plus 500 underdog in a closely contested fight. And here he is up against Volkan, who I've always had a soft spot for Volkan. I remember watching Volkan
Yep.
versus DC with you in Miranda Pub. We
Yep.
both had money on Oezdemir. We were
Yeah,
both
I
going
mean that's
no time.
great. I mean that shows you how bad punters we were in hindsight.
Oh,
We get that.
absolutely. And I've been keeping up with his career since that fight. And look, he hasn't found sustained success, but I do think he is evolving. Like he's always had fight-ending power. And you remember how he used to just get those weird knockouts, like from weird positions. It was like he just had those very like he just had a very wild style of striking, and he was very poor defensively, had very poor grappling, and now he's a pretty technical pressure boxer now. He's a bit harder to hit because he's more defensively aware, and he can win fights using his grappling now too. Oezdemir is 2-1 in his last three, beat Guskov by sub, which is aging great. He knocked out Johnny Walker with some very clean boxing combos in the pocket, and then lost to Ulberg in a chess match. I don't think there's real shame losing to Ulberg in a chess match, but I agree he should be favored here. On paper, he has the skill set to both outpoint Menifield or get a KO, and I do think he gets the knockout. Like Menifield himself is poor defensively. Umar Sy was a good win, but that was not a man who wanted to engage. That was a man who wanted to just point fight his way to victory. Like I think he was scared in there. And Julius Walker definitely had his moments against Menifield too. Ulberg straight cleaned him up. Jacoby just wanted to outpoint him too. It had some good moments, and fuck, even Jimmy Crute had his moments against Alonzo Menifield. So look, I'm definitely not willing to pay minus 230 for Oezdemir money line because Menifield could very much pull one out of the bag too. But I'd be more interested in Oezdemir in the distance. I did play his straight knockout line at plus 150. The thing with Oezdemir is he doesn't fight scared, which has cost him in the past, but here it gives him the opportunity to secure a win. He fights with much more process than he did in those early years, and I think process, fight ending power, and no fear is what it takes to get Menifield out of there. It could also get him knocked out.
Yeah, I feel like it's so weird seeing how Menifield, how he's like the pricing of him has changed so much since when he entered the UFC. Like when he first entered, and I'm just going down his record when he was fighting. Like, do you remember Vinicius Moreira?
Oh, yeah.
And Paul Craig? Like, obviously remember Paul Craig, but he was like minus 300 to both of those guys. And like Devin Clark, he was again minus 250. OSP, he was even minus 150 against in 2020. So like he got priced like decent favorite against these guys, and now he's plus 500 against Umar Sy, who's barely sniffed the jockstrap of the UFC, and then fucking he's like plus 175 against Azamat and stuff like that. So he just gets priced super strangely now. And I'm with you though in this fight. Like I kind of favor. I think Oezdemir should be the favorite, and it feels like Alonzo should just be done. Like I can't believe he keeps fucking winning. Like I think were you on Julius Walker as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both on him in that fight, and that was just such a frustrating watch for a split decision. He looked terrible. Like Menifield looked terrible.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Walker would have like a good moment, and then he'd just clinch.
Yeah,
that was just
and like Menifield looked dead at some point, and then he just like come back, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah,
it was a bizarre fight. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, if this stays on the feet, I think it's competitive. Like, both guys will probably have some success, but I probably favor Oezdemir more. Neither guy's really much of a wrestler. I'd say Menifield probably more inclined to shoot, if anyone. But yeah, I think Oezdemir is fine. Like the way he's fought back in his career has been pretty impressive, and I think the names he's beating more recently are definitely, or competing against, are definitely better than Alonzo. So yeah, I think you kind of have to favor Oezdemir here. But I don't necessarily think he knocks him out or anything. I think it's probably close and competitive enough to not really be rushing to jump in on this one, to be honest. All right, up to the co-main event of the evening. Upper welterweight, we've got Belal Muhammad, 24-4, taking on Ian Machado Garry, 16-1. Prices, we have Ian Garry minus 250. Come back on Belal plus 210. It does feel slightly strange to me to be getting Belal at such good dog odds again. But to be completely honest, I think this is probably the worst stylistic matchup for him in the entire division. Like, I would say that pretty confidently. Like, Belal's going to thrive in these, dirty fights where a guy's, kind of good everywhere, but not amazing anywhere. Like if you're not a good striker, Belal's probably going to have some striking success against you just because he's awkward and unconventional. And if you're not a good grappler, he's probably going to have some wrestling advantage where he's going to get in your face, cardio, death by cardio you, and not do, not threaten a whole lot anywhere. Whereas I kind of think Garry is live to just keep this fight on the feet with the footwork. He's got very hard range to engage in. I don't think Belal is going to be able to hit him where Garry keeps this fight. And I think for as long as Gary's on the outside, he's definitely winning this fight. Even if Belal gets in on him, Belal really has no submission threat upside at all. So even if he gets the fight to the ground, I'm pretty confident that Garry can, scramble, get back to his feet, negate with submission, sweep, anything like that, and get the fight back to the feet. And I think as long as it's on the feet, he's definitely the side. So I don't like Garry like as a person. I'm not afraid to say that, but I was against him with Prates. I took him against Shavkat, where he almost got that rear naked choke. I mean, his resume ages better and better every single week that goes on. Like, you have to admit it.
Yeah.
The fight against Shavkat was a great look. The Prates win is aging better and better every day. The Michael Page fight, I think, was a bit of a low light. And I'm going to be honest, I will get this rear naked choke fucking submission bet off on Ian Garry before I die. I'll tell you that. Because I had him against Shavkat. I had him against MVP, both in like the deepest rear naked choke. So hopefully Charlie Olives has fucking taught him how to finish a rear naked choke at some point. But I didn't expect to come in and love Garry. I love him this week, to be honest. I think this is a fight for him to look very, very good in. I think Belal is probably going to have a bit of a regression, I would say, after winning the belt. I don't think he's going to be one of those champions to go back and get it. I think he's probably overperformed to that point, and I think this is an awful matchup for him. I think Garry looks really good and arguably talks himself into getting the next title shot, to be honest. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's the popular side this week, and I agree. It's footwork and counter-striking versus pressure and grappling. And in a 3-rounder, I got to go with a much taller, longer, and younger guy in Garry, who I think he will get the better of the exchanges with his range management, speed, and precision. I have him at minus 190 parlayed with someone else on this card, which we'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one more fight after this, so it's pretty obvious who that is. So I got that. And I actually have a small nibble on Garry by knockout at plus 440. I know Garry can be a bit of a decision merchant, like against higher level opponents, but with the recent run of big welterweight wins, like Morales knocking out Sean Brady and Prates knocking out Leon, I think Garry will want to make a statement, especially not letting Prates, someone he dominated for 4.5 rounds, get ahead of him in terms of title shot. And I think he has the style to do it. Like Belal's forward pressure, like in your face style, is going to give him opportunities, especially if Garry can just sit down on that perfect pullback right hand or like land that right head kick. I think he can stun like Belal at the very least, and that could lead to a finishing sequence. Like Belal, we've seen him knocked out before in the past.
Definitely.
And he was hurt a lot against JDM, who I don't think JDM was committing with full power to his strikes. Like his coach kept saying, like what was he saying at that last round? Like keep pinging the cunt.
Yeah.
Something, which I think that just told me that his game plan was to just kind of like keep moving and just land a shot and have the footwork to just dart in and out. But I do feel if Garry commits to like strikes like he did against Prates, he had that one really good moment, actually a few good moments where he like rocked Prates. I think if he can have some of those moments against Belal, it could potentially lead to a finish. So I like the number at plus 440. Whether it's me finally landing him by knockout, I have landed him by knockout against D-Rod before, or you getting Garry by sub, I think he just wins as well.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like the whole reasoning. I like the breakdown. I completely agree with getting a statement win. So I'm with you. Maybe I mean, sub's going to be such a good price, man. Garry wins ITDs like plus 310 ish, somewhere there. Garry wins by sub plus 1,000, plus 1,100. Fuck. I agree though. I think knockout's a very decent opportunity as well, especially if he I think if he fights in opposite stances, I think it'll be potentially there. So the head kick, I mean. So yeah, I'm with you. I like it. I like it a lot.
I just think it's not going to be a good look for him if like you have Morales knocking out Brady, Prates knocking out Leon, and just Garry just
carrying Belal to a decision.
Yeah, so I think that could very well happen. That is likely. But like if Garry goes in there with intent to just sits down on those punches, I think he can get him out of there at plus 440. I'm willing to find out.
I completely agree. I like it. I think we might have found a good juicy prop for the week.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do it. Main event. Lightweight main event. We got Arman Tsarukyan, 22-3, taking on Daniel Hooker, 24-12. prices, we got an Arman at -500, -550, floating somewhere thereabouts. The comeback on Dan Hooker, +375 to +390. Ryan, you have another fight parlayed. It's obviously this one. Tell me.
It's the Hangman. Yeah, I don't have a long breakdown for this.
Yeah.
I just don't think Dan Hooker at this point of his career competes with Arman Tsarukyan. Like at his best, like Dan Hooker was just a journeyman who overachieved at times because of his toughness. Like people know him for his loss to Dustin Poirier and his split decision wins against Jalen Turner, Gamrot, and Felder. And they were all wars. Like you got to give it to Dan Hooker. He thrives in a war, and if he can outlast you along the stretch, he may just get his hand raised in a split decision. All of his dominant wins have been against favorable matchups. In hindsight, Claudio Puelles, a very green Nasrat, Ali Quinta, James Vick, and a 155 Gilbert Burns. But whenever he faced good competition, he lost. Usually in brutal fashion. Chandler knocked him out. Poirier, that was a war. Arnold Allen cleaned him up, and Islam took him down and just subbed him. And Tsarukyan is in his physical prime. He was meant to fight Islam early this year for the title, and he has all the tools in his arsenal that Hooker has struggled with in the past. And to put it simply, I think Arman handles business here. He takes him down, has his way with Hooker on the ground, and either finds the sub or ground and pound TKO in the first or second round. As I said before, I did have Ian Garry parlayed with someone. Surprise, it's Arman. And got it at -110, loaded up on that for 2.25 units. But I also got a ladder play. I'd put 1.25 units on Arman to win in the distance at -135. And on top of that, Arman by sub at +380. I think he's going to get some positions here to lock up a sub. Could he get the TKO like from his ground and pound? Yes, we've seen it happen. I think he got... who's that guy in lightweight right now? The guy that went to distance with Vicente Luque just recently.
Oh, Joel.
Yeah, Joel Alvarez. That's how Arman got him out.
Yeah, well, I remember he sliced him so bad with that elbow.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was a nasty cut.
Very nasty. And I think Arman he'll be on top of him, on top of Dan Hooker, whether he goes for the ground and pound or sub. I think the number at sub at +380 is enticing enough, seeing that he will be in those positions.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm trying to think how to weasel some value back in, because I agree. I think there's violence to be had here. Like, Arman, as good as he is everywhere, like he is really impressive everywhere, but he does get hurt a lot. He does get clipped and hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's chinny or he's just got bad defense at times, but he seems to get caught quite a bit, especially by like looping sort of shots, whether it's, big overhand or like a spinning kick or, some things like that just sort of catch you off guard.
Yeah.
And I think Hooker maybe could do that to him. Like, I think it's a slim chance, but I definitely think it's a potential outcome. I think if Hooker wins, it's by knockout, and that's really it, to be honest. I don't think he wins any other way. And if he doesn't, I think Arman's just going to ragdoll him. Like, he can compete in the kickboxing for, as long as he wants, but he's inviting issues there, I think, if he keeps that fight where Hooker wants it. So I think he's going to wrestle. I really do. I think he's going to come in with the wrestling shoes on. I think he's going to take him down. I think he's going to try and either smash him or submit him, like you said. There's bad blood between these two. He wants a statement win to get that Ilya fight. So I think he comes in and smashes the fuck out of him. I think it's a bad matchup for Hooker. As I said, feels KO or bust. But yeah, I'm with you. There's just not great prices around. Like, I don't love +150 on TKO. I feel like if you got 440 on sub, that feels decent. Because I don't really love anything else. Like, Tsarukyan ITD is like -170 or like -150. Unders, you're getting under 4.5 for $1.90 each way, like no -110. So it's not amazing anyway. You play it. So I don't hate the way you've played it with sub and that.
Yeah, it's I just think he does put himself in danger, like you said, and it could be one of those fights where he gets dropped early and then he just gets it done at the end of that same round.
Yeah, I don't think Hooker's like invested in the game as much anymore either. Like he was really into it, obviously, a few years ago when he was having, maybe more than a few years ago now at this point, like a few years ago where he was really having all those wars. But he's got his, fight sort of business league that he's taken, the 1 minute scrap sort of thing. It's going pretty well in the Mac life. And he's also had a lot of injuries too, like a lot of hand injuries recently. That had a bit of surgery and time out. So I could see him breaking his hand here and not. I don't know. He breaks shit all the time, but I don't love that if you're backing him anyway. So has to be Arman. But
and plus, you're getting the amount of tattoos that he gets. That's at least like per tattoo, like per session of tattoo. That's like a long recovery process. You can't even train or sweat much like in the next 2.5 weeks after you get it. So you got to think that he's had a lot of time off on top of like the injuries, and Arman is probably he's competing and grappling and stuff.
Yeah,
outside of.
I'm pretty sure he's taken this camp with the Russian. How sometimes he goes with the Russian wrestling like Olympic outfit.
Yeah,
he's done it a couple of times before. He's back with him now, so I'm pretty confident he wrestles here. So I'm with you. I'll probably have a nibble on that sub prop. Should have upside. Should it go there?
You could see him trying to like go for like a Kimura or something.
Yeah, he'll try and just rip his arm off, I reckon.
Yeah,
100%. Did he win his last fight by? No. Has he beat anyone by Kimura recently? No.
I know Dan's lost by Kimura.
Dan's lost by Kimura. I was trying to think. Olive's had him in the DAS. And yeah, anyway. Should be. I think it's a good fight for Arman. Do you reckon he gets Ilya next? What do you reckon happens?
I don't know. You got Ilya now, who's featherweight and lightweight champion.
Yeah.
You got Islam now, who's lightweight and welterweight champion. It's just a weird.
Islam ran, man. Islam ran. Let's be real.
Yeah, he did.
Bro, he had such a big fight at 155 with Ilya.
And then now you got. I mean, he went up to.
Is he going to make him go to a third? Come on.
No.
Come on. I don't know. I can't see it. That's a mega fight. That's like the biggest fight in the UFC in years. Easily.
Yeah. I forgot who said it. I think I read somewhere today that it might have been Garry that said it, but it'd be bad for the sport if like they fought each other. Like in a way, because it would just hold up two divisions.
Yeah. No, it definitely would, especially like there's so much there's not that much logjam at lightweight, to be honest with you, but there's logjam at welterweight.
Yeah, for sure.
So
welterweight's a fucking amazing division. Like it just
it's come good, because it felt like it was under siege a little bit when Kamaru was dominating.
It was
that couple year period. Yeah, correct. But now it's come full circle. It's actually bloody exciting. So, all right, let's go bottom to top. Final picks, and we'll get out of here. Okay, Marek Bulho taking on Denzel Freeman. Yeah, Freeman for me too. Nurullo Aliev Shamrock.
Aliev.
Doggo pass for me has to be. I'll go Aliev, I suppose. Ismail Nordiev, Ryan Loder.
The man of steel, Ryan Loder.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ryan Loder for me. Beksat Almakan, Alexandre Tapuria.
Tapuria. That's a lean. Just a lean on him.
Yeah, no bet, but I think Tapuria, slight. Yakoyev or Rafael Sakura.
Yakoyev.
Yeah, Yakoyev for me too. Alex Perez or Asu Almabayev.
Did we make a pick?
We did. I said dog or pass, yeah.
Dog or pass, but gun to my head, Almabayev.
I agree. Gun to my head, I'm with Asu, but yeah, I hope Alex Perez looks good here. Nicholas Dolby, Sagid, Isaac Agmaev.
Were you making a play on Dolby?
I think I will. I want to see a little bit more. I haven't watched any media day or anything yet, so I reckon I might see. I want to watch how he's talking and stuff like that to see what he looks like a bit.
All right, I'll go with Dolby.
But I think it's dog or it has to be
dog or pass for sure.
Has to be.
Austin Harris.
yeah, exactly. Bogdan Grad, Luke Riley.
Luke Riley.
Yeah, I like Luke Riley. I like violence. Any way you can get it in that one. Tagir Ulanbekov, Kyoji Horiguchi.
Horiguchi.
Yeah, we're split on that one. I think Tagir probably wins. Shamil Gaziev or Waldo Cortez Acosta.
Where's Waldo?
Let's go. Fat Dominican baseballer. Let's cook. Jack Hermansson, Myktybek Orolbai.
Jack Hermansson.
Yeah, it has to be the dog. It has to be
Our
Hermansson.
numbers, hell yeah.
Has to be. Volkan Oezdemir, Alonzo Menifield.
No time.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think No Time will win, but I don't have much confidence in him, to be honest. Welterweight, Belal Muhammad, Ian Machado, Garry.
Ian Machado, Garry.
Ian Machado, Garry, and I'm weirdly confident in him. Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker, main event.
Arman Tsarukyan.
Yeah, I think Tsarukyan wins. You like sub. I like violence. I like sub. All right. That is another episode of the WagerWise MMA podcast, episode 42 this week. So 10 weeks and we'll be at a full year.
Yep. We've got 2 more left for the year.
Is that it? 2 events?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure UFC, whichever the next one is with Merab. I think it's Merab.
Oh, yeah. It's the pay-per-view.
Yeah, Merab and Jan and Josh Van.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, I forgot who it is.
Is that the main event? Yeah, and it's got Pantoja? Yeah, Pantoja. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with it now.
Yeah, 2 more for the year.
Brandon Moreno and Tyra are fighting on that card. Eh? Why did that go under the radar for me a little bit? They
fighting.
Yeah. Tyra and Brandon Moreno, yeah.
Oh, give me Tyra.
That's an interesting. Terrence McKinney to take you on Chris Duncan.
Oh my god.
Who the fuck's gonna win that?
Jesus.
McKinney rocks him in the first minute and then gets finished for sure.
Oh, it could very much it could very well be a repeat of that Drew Dober fight.
And then Brandon Royval and our cap is the last one of the year. So
all right.
Yeah. Interesting. So I think we must have a week off next week, right?
Yeah, week off next week.
Week off and then back with the pay-per-view. So we'll be back then. If you're watching, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Follow Ryan on Twitter at Desperate Times with a Z1. Follow me on Twitter at Dribble Sport at Provide Picks. We'll have some more picks coming at you before the end of the week with our final set, our WagerWise pick of the week, which has been cursed, but I'm sure it'll turn. Let's go one of the props. I like the Ian Garry ITD sort of thing. We can look at something like that.
Yeah.
But we'll put some picks out on Twitter. Other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you not next week, but the week after. See you for the next one.